they were told when I was born, oh, she's not going to do anything. They actually told her I'd be dead in the morning, one of the nurses. Like they never had a lot of, no one ever really had a lot of hope for me. The first 3 years of my life in school, I was looking out a window because they turned my table around to look outside a window and I couldn't even write my name by grade 3. And Mum's going, what is going on? The crowds are getting bigger. And we're actually being seen as athletes, not disabled people having a go. And that's really what I wanted to show as well. Like, we don't mind being inspirational, but it's not because we just get out of bed. We want it to be, we are working our guts out. We are putting in the hours. We're making sacrifices. We are doing extraordinary things. We started at 11 at night or 10 and went till 7 in the morning. And it gets better. I couldn't even get out of my sled. I could not lift myself out of my sled because I was so sore. After that, we had a training session. And I'm like, I have to go to training. I had 2-hour break. We just kind of sat there like, I got back into my sled and I did 2 hours of training.
Today, we're diving into the power of choosing your own narrative. What happens when you refuse to accept other people's limitations on your life? This conversation explores disability advocacy beyond inspiration, the real cost of breaking barriers, and why being kind to yourself is actually a practice you have to choose daily. We talk about everything from working 2 jobs for free to prove yourself, to lying in a hospital bed for 4 months, to driving 4 hours every Sunday for the sport you love. You'll hear how to tell the difference between toxic positivity and genuine reframing, why comparison is a trap, and what it truly means to run your own race when everyone's watching.
Go for it. Basically, just say yes to everything. That it, and there's this, I think there's this, I can't remember. It's like, jumping out of a plane and working out the parachute on the way down. It's like, just say yes and figure it out later.
So welcome to Midlife Unfiltered. I'm your host, Margaret Cruz. Today's super inspiring guest is the one and only Lynda Holt. Lynda is a trailblazing Australian Paralympian whose sporting journey defies limits. Representing Australia in shot put and discus, she donned the green and gold at the Sydney 2000 Paralympics, winning a silver medal in the women's F55 shot put after years of dedication and training. Born with spina bifida, Lynda's strength of spirit has carried her from the athletics field to a bold new arena, para ice hockey, which we are definitely talking about today, and where she's now helping to grow Australia's presence on the world stage. Beyond sport, she's an entrepreneur and advocate, proving that reinvention and impact have no age or boundaries. So welcome, Lynda.
Thank you so much. What an intro. Thank you.
I've been so super excited to meet you, seriously, like a little closet fan over here. But I would love, there's so much in your story that is just so incredible. I would love to just start at that 2000 Paralympics.
Best place to start. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like for you just being there, getting there, and then that experience of actually winning a medal, or everything paying off?
Well, it's been hard to pass that, to be honest, in my life. That's been my highlight, so far. So I started sport when I was 9 years old. So it took me 20 odd years to get there. So it wasn't a instant thing, and I trained all the time, and I sacrificed a lot of things, like, you don't go to parties, although I did do a few. And I also had to work full time because back in the day, we weren't sponsored. We had to pay everything. It hasn't really changed an awful lot, to be honest. But we had to pay for everything. I had to work a full-time job. But I did make the Paralympics, and it was one to remember. I haven't done another one since, but I am planning another one in 2030. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
That blows my mind, and we're definitely going to be talking about that today. I just imagine that feeling of just, first of all, hearing that you've been nominated and accepted in the Australian team, because that's the end goal, right?
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's the pinnacle of sport, particularly in athletics.
I had made national teams before.
Yeah.
For national, so that was always, I always loved them. But Paralympics is something you always remember. And it was actually, I almost didn't get there. It was a bit of a story. I made the team. I qualified. I did everything, but a couple of weeks, so before
Yeah.
leaving, they decided, not our team or anything, the Paralympics decided that they might pull our events. So it was me and this other guy, pull our events or mix them or do something with them, and then we may not even go. And we're like, you serious? We have literally trained 12 hours, 12 sessions a week and worked full time and really got ourselves here. And a couple of weeks before we go, we might not even make it. Look, it all worked out well in the end. They did combine one of my events. So I actually should have got 2 silver medals. I got second in both events. But what they did is they combined. So just to explain a little bit, with our disabilities, we're all different. But to make it equal and fair, they have this numbering system. So F55, F56, F57, up to F58. As you can imagine, each level goes up, a disability gets less. So someone who's an F58 can weight bear on their legs, stand up and walk, basically. They might
Okay.
wobble a bit, they might need to hold on, but they've got stomach muscles, they've got muscles in their legs, they've got everything. So what they did is they combined us all, and I'm on the lower end of the scale where I have some stomach muscles, but my balance isn't there and I cannot weight bear at all. So I'm confined to the wheelchair. So they combined us all. And what they did was first, second, and third got the medals. So someone who's walking with stomach muscles and leg muscles can obviously throw a lot further. They're still sitting down, but they can obviously throw a lot further than us. This is the main kicker. The girl in my category who come first, she broke a world record in our category, F55, came fourth overall and did not get a medal, but
Wow.
broke a world record. I come second in my category and did not get my silver medal. So I'm a bit bitter over that, but I know I came second in both of my events and I should have had 2 silver medals, but I was ripped off and she was ripped off a gold medal in that event.
That's really interesting, and I mean, this is the what we're seeing in Paralympics and parasport generally. There's, it feels like 2000, like it's such a long time ago now,
Yeah.
but we were so far behind, and I just wonder even now how far we've really come.
It's both. Like, we've come a long way because now athletes are actually paid. If they get a medal, they get paid. We did not. I got my medal. We did sport then because we loved it. Back then, I don't even believe they wanted to hold the Paralympics in Australia because we would go run at a loss. We had school kids turning up to watch us. They loved it. They were awesome. But we didn't really have that. And back then we didn't have social media. We didn't have
Yeah.
Instagram. So, but you know what? I had 70,000 people watch me throw. I had a lot of people on the day. So people did want to see it. The public did want it. The people who organised it didn't think that they did. And it's only grown from there. So now the last, couple of Paralympics, I think it was Tokyo, they got paid per medal, like normal
Good.
athletes do. And, and the crowds are getting bigger. And we're actually being seen as athletes, not disabled people having a go. And that's
Yeah.
really what I wanted to show as well. Like, we don't mind being inspirational, but it's not because we just get out of bed. We want it to be
Yes.
because we are working our guts out. We are putting in the hours. We're making sacrifices. We are doing extraordinary things. That's, yeah, be inspiring for that.
Absolutely.
And that's why we want to show.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point because it's really, for someone that is able-bodied I mean, I genuinely love watching the Paralympics.
Yeah,
I
a lot
find
of
it
people
so
do.
engaging.
Yeah,
I love what I'm seeing. I love the spirit of what I'm seeing. Uh, and yet I also know behind it, and I know, like with you, there's this super competitive. You're as competitive, probably more
yeah,
competitive than I am. I'm really competitive.
yeah.
But I know for you, it's like, no, I've done the work to get here.
We have to prove a point too.
Yeah.
We're always trying to prove a point. We're trying to show that we can do anything in life, but people often put us in a box. So
Yes.
we're fighting that as well as competitors. We're fighting it
Yeah.
all.
But thank goodness that you are fighting that, because like I know for you, the advocacy work that you do is it's really
It's
important,
important.
and we have to break those barriers down. We
Yeah.
have to, even just the idea we were talking yesterday about facilities having just little things like can we get a wide enough gate to
Yeah.
fit a wheelchair through so that you can use the facilities like everyone
Yeah.
else? Or
And before I opened my own business, I was, working general jobs, and I've had to work 2 jobs for free to prove that I could do it. And I worked that for like 4 to 6 months for free, just to
yeah,
show them, "Oh, no, I can do this," because they didn't think I could do it. And clearly I did. So it's like things like that. We're breaking barriers down everywhere, like sports, employment, relationships, everything.
yeah.
We have to try and break them down because we are seen as different a lot of the times. But that is shifting, and I'm hoping to be part of that shift.
Oh, I would say very clearly you are part of that shift. Like from people who don't know you, who are now they're going to get to know you. Just hearing the spirit of who you are and how you show up. Like you just keep showing up despite it feeling like it's got to be a
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I just keep going.
You were telling me in our pre-chat that you moved out of home at 14. Like, I can't imagine moving out of home at 14.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little bit about what that was
It
like
was
for
like,
you and how the heck you got through it.
it was. Look, as you can tell, I'm a bit of a person who likes to just get out there and go. At 9, I went on my first plane and competed, and I was like, "See you, mum. I'm off." And all the other kids are crying, like, "I'm going," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gone. I'll see you when I get back." I've always been a bit confident that way. So basically, I had the opportunity, and I take opportunities. That's what it is. An opportunity presented. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just going to do it." I didn't know how it would end. I didn't know how it would go. And I went, "Yeah, I'm just going to do that." So I was offered an opportunity to move into a place that was a 6-bedroom house. And I moved in with 5 other girls in wheelchairs, to become independent. So we had to pay our bills. We had to clean, wash, iron. We did everything. Like I said, I paid rent. I went to school. I did everything. But we did have a house mother there, and she was just a mum. She wasn't someone who was a nurse or anything. She was a mum, just to watch over 14-year-old kids who have been let loose in the world. So, she was great. And I am still friends with her to this day. I'm very
Wow.
close with her.
That's a special
I
relationship, isn't
I
it?
adore her. She's amazing. So, yeah, we're still very close. And so I learnt independence, which I'd already had a bit anyway. So for me, it was like, yeah, this is great. But I did learn independence. And then from there, I moved out from there at 17 with one of the girls in the house, my best friend. So we moved out into just a unit together. And so I was prepared for life. I'd already learnt everything, and I could pay bills and I could do everything. I then went on to become a foster mum at 19, but that's a whole different story. So
My
yeah,
goodness. Another thing that you've said yes to.
did. I'd literally known the kids for 2 weeks because
Wow.
I met their mum in hospital where my friend was in hospital and I was visiting her. Their mum was in hospital, and she come to me and said, "Oh, look, I really need someone to look after my kids." I'd come into hospital unprepared, because you are when you get sick, and there's no one looking after them. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, look, I'll look after them for 2 weeks." It turned out I looked after them for a year.
And
She
how
was
old
in
were
there,
they?
8 and 10.
So it's interesting, right? Because we talk about these barriers that people living with a disability face, and yet this mum saw you, saw your capabilities.
Yeah,
I mean,
and just said, "Can
because
you
it's a
take my
lot.
children?"
Yeah, that's a lot to ask of someone. Can you take my children for
Yeah.
2 weeks, a year?
Well, it was just 2 weeks. I'm like, "Yeah, look, because I was at TAFE at the time. I said, yeah, while I'm at TAFE, I'll take them on school holidays. Yeah, no worries." And then I just ended up having them forever because back in the day then, wounds would take a long time to heal. They're a lot
Yeah.
better now at healing them, but you're not in there as long. I was in 4 months, as one of my longer ones. But, yeah, so it was almost a year that I had the kids, and I'm still friends with them today.
I would
They're like
imagine that too.
40. He's like my son. So I've got like a foster kid
A
still,
40-year-old son,
a
which doesn't
40-year-old
seem
son. I'm
the
like,
math is not
yeah,
adding up there,
I know. So,
especially
yeah,
when you're only 27, right?
exactly. I'm only 27.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So this is the adventure of Lynda Holt's life, seriously.
It just things roll at me and I just take it like, yeah, let's do this.
How did your parents feel when you moved out of home at 14?
Look, I was always this way, and mum and look, my parents, my family have always been so supportive of anything I do, and they are to this day. They are still there. So they loved that I was being independent, because they could see in life. They were told when I was born, "Oh, she's not going to do anything." They actually told her I'd be dead in the morning. One of the nurses, like they
My
never had a lot
goodness.
of no one ever really had a lot of hope for me. But my mum was always fighting for me. Like, I know, like she would tell me off. I'd go, "Oh, mum, I can't do that." And she'd like, "No, you can. Go and do that." And she'd yell at me. And I'd be like, "Okay." So mum was always instilling independence in me from day dot. So when I had this opportunity, she was all for it. I'd go and on weekends, I'd go home and stay with mum and still see her. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it she was always supportive and could see that it was taking me forward, not backwards. It wasn't a you're there because you need, you know, discipline or something. It was there
Yeah.
to
You're not at
grow.
military
You're
school.
not at military school. We don't not want you. It was there to grow.
Yeah. Well, I find that extraordinary because, back then it's true, but
Yeah,
the expectations were so much lower for someone living with a disability. And if you hadn't had a mum that was so, I'm going to say fierce about,
yeah.
no, that's
I'm
actually,
really similar.
that's rubbish. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Let's go and show the world, which you certainly have been doing.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. We were not expected to do much back in the day.
Mm.
I even had one school teacher tell me, um, basically I was no good and just to sit in the corner. Actually, I actually went to 8 different schools as well. Speaking of not doing much, the first 3 years of my life in school, I was looking out a window because they turned my table around to look outside a window, and I couldn't even write my name by grade 3. And Mum's going, "What is going on? Why why can't she write her name?" And it turns out they basically, "Oh, we just don't know what to do with her." And I was like, I get to look out a window or I get to look at the class next door doing art. So I wasn't going to put my hand up. I was a bit, like, I'm loving this. But so mum's like, then I had to move to another school where I made up 3 years in that 1 year. So I had to repeat year 4. And then I moved to another school. And then in one of my school moves, I just kept moving, 8 different schools. One of them was on a deaf bus. It took me 3 hours to get to school. So they picked me up at 6 in the morning. I was the first to get picked up and the last to get dropped off. So I'd get picked up at 6 in the morning. The entire bus was full of deaf kids, couldn't talk. So I learnt sign language in the year that I was
Yep.
going to school there. And then on the way home, I'd get home at 6 p.m. at night. So, yeah, that was a long, long year.
It's really interesting to me. I go, okay, so you're on the deaf bus in a wheelchair, clearly not deaf, and then you go, okay, I'll adapt into this world, and so I'll learn sign. I think sign language is fantastic. I learnt it, and I can remember the letters.
Still do
But
it. I can do the letters. I can't
yeah,
do the full scope. I do
yeah,
the letters and spell everything out, but I
yep,
can communicate.
yep.
So my school was next door to their school. So that's why I'd get on the bus and they'd drop me off at the school and then they'd drop them off at the school next door. So yeah, it was an
Did you
interesting year.
at that time? Did you feel there was something wrong with that whole situation for you, or you were just like, okay, let's just roll with it?
I just rolled with it. Like
Yeah,
that's what I was told to do. I didn't have a lot of choices back in those days.
yeah,
I mean, I was a kid. I was
yeah,
told where I went and who I went with. So I got told, and obviously they went, look, it's taking a toll on her. 6 hours of traveling a day is a lot. So that's why they moved me closer then to home because I'd moved, I don't know where I was back in high school now. I don't know where I was. Anyway, I've moved back at some point and yeah, it was
yeah.
all, yeah, this was before I went into the house. Yeah. So yeah, I was back home and we just made the best choices we could at the time. And that was there. That's how it
Yeah, yeah,
worked.
and I think that's the thing to remember, isn't it? I mean, I really I try to live that way of just remembering that everyone's making the best choice that they can at the time with the information they
Yeah.
have, and clearly today, like our views on people with disabilities is completely different. Well, for a lot of people, it is. I'm sure there's some who it's not, but it's becoming. It's more in the forefront, I think. We're
Yeah.
trying to think more about how do we provide better facilities? How do we provide better
It's definitely there.
experiences?
Definitely. Look, we still have a lot of things to change. I still do come up across barriers, and I've got to pick my battles sometimes because otherwise I'll
Yeah.
be fighting everything. Um, but and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. So
And that's life.
Yeah,
That is actually life everywhere, isn't it? And some
yeah,
battles mean probably more to you personally than
yeah,
others, and they're the ones that you kind of stick with for a bit
yeah,
longer, and they still hurt when you don't win them. That's for
yeah.
sure.
But I can't give that much energy to it anymore sometimes, and I just have to work around it.
I'd love to hear a little about, speaking of those battles and which ones you're picking, the sort of the inclusion and accessibility work that and advocacy that you've done, because I think it's really important that people hear, oh, yeah, there's people who are out there doing this.
Yeah. Well, there's one in particular that I remember, and it was a really great experience with one of the airlines. Probably won't mention who it is, but it's one of the airlines has a carer's card where they look after you, and they, because with us a lot of disabled people can't travel alone. They need someone to help lift their stuff, get them in and out the seat. There's a whole lot of things that they need assistance with. So one of the airlines looked great from the front. They had this card where it would give the companion at the time 50% off and give me 10%. I thought that's really great. So I went to book a flight one day because I got that for my mum who has dementia, because my sister needs to travel with my mum as well. So we had that for my mum, and I was booking them a flight to Queensland. And I look online, and the ready deal was, let's say, $100. And then I'd ring up, because you have to ring up and, okay, I want to book this flight this time. And they went, yeah, that's great. That's $150. And I went, hang on a second. I'm using you've done the companion card, right? You've added that. Yeah, yeah, that's using the card. But how is that more expensive? And she goes, oh, it's a different fare. I said, but that's not inclusive. I said, you're looking after
Mm.
disabled, but you're not. So I said, don't bother using the card. I'll just pay for the $100 one because I'm a bit cheap. I will pay for the $100 one. And there was no difference in service or anything. So thanks very much. So I went back to the airline. It didn't sit well with me. I'm going, look, I am fine if you do not offer us anything. Don't give us anything at all. And I'll just take what you've got because it's equal and fair. But don't come in and look like you're doing us a favor, that you're supporting the disability community. And you're not actually doing that because you're costing us more money. It's costing me more to be disabled.
Mm.
And they actually come back and went, you know what? I'm sorry, you're right. We didn't mean to do that. It was just how it worked out, and we didn't really think it through because no one had bothered to challenge them before. That
Wow.
airline has gone now on to change it and make it better. And I'm still working with them to this day. That was a few years ago, to make improvements. So some people listen, and that airline did. And I'm always favoring them now because they're amazing.
Absolutely.
So they listened. But in other cases, not so much. Like a hotel room will go, I wanted the one room. Yep. Oh, they're upstairs. So we're going to give you the family room, and that's going to be, $400. And I'm like, well, that room's only $98. And like, yeah, but it's a family room. Look, I'm one person. I don't need a family room. I need accessible. Well, that's the room
Yes.
you've got. So they want to upsell me because of my disability, because in their eyes, it's like, but it's a bigger room. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it for luxury, or I'm not
Yeah.
doing it for family reasons. I'm doing it for access. So I have to fight that. And sometimes I don't win those. So I'm like, you can keep your room. I'll find somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't always win, but I will try if it's something that's really important, like
Yeah.
the
And I've
airline, because I'm a travel agent as well on top of everything else. And that's important to me because traveling is a nightmare for someone in a wheelchair or with any disability. It's a
absolutely. Yeah,
nightmare.
it is.
So I want to make change there as well. And that's why I still work with that airline, and they are awesome.
That's isn't it wonderful? And I wonder how much of that was, I got onto the right person on that day. But I think we
I
have
went
to
to
be.
discrimination. Went
Yeah, well,
fully.
and I think that's where we have to
Yeah.
be, in these situations, and even that, wanting an accessible room. Oh, well, you can have this one, but you have to pay a lot
Yeah.
more. Well, hang on, why don't we have
Why?
more accessible rooms? And I understand in many places we're living with, older architecture. And
Yes.
and so kind of working with that it's definitely a work in progress. I know where I live, we're very aware of that, and a lot of our buildings
Yeah.
are probably not as accessible
Yeah.
as we would like them to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Look, it's getting better, and that's what I'm saying. I can't complain. It is getting better.
Yeah.
There's a few little areas that irk me a little, but and I do try and change them, but
So
your life goes on.
your
Yeah,
travel business is primarily for people living with a disability?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
how
yes.
great.
It's hard work though, because
It is, yeah.
you gotta. because when I'm ringing up a hotel, I'm like, that's accessible, right? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. After you get past that one step, it's all accessible. And we're like, oh, hang on, think back what you've just said to me. That one step, that step is not accessible. So I still have to educate as I go. And then I'm like, no, it's not accessible. And I'm like, what's this? And yeah. So it can be tiring, but I've got a lot of energy. So luckily
Yeah, you
I do.
have. You really have. I remember I was in a building a while ago. We actually did this accessibility sort of activity, and it was led by this amazing man and his life is in a wheelchair as well. And he sent us on a little adventure. And so we were in groups and all of us had to take on a disability. So one
Love
person's
it.
on crutches, one person's in the wheelchair, one person's got, had headphones on they couldn't hear. And then we had to go just little things. Go down to the coffee store and ask for a coffee, but you can't use words. We couldn't speak. And so we had to go through this. And one of the
Awesome.
things that we discovered was that in our own building, the wheelchair accessible toilet has a step to
Yeah.
go into it and is almost wide enough, but you didn't want to have your hands by the side, sort of getting the wheelchair
Yes.
in there. And then you couldn't turn the wheelchair around inside the toilet. And we're like, but this is basic and this is a public building. Like, it was a real eye opener for everyone who did that training though. It was wonderful.
That's why you need disabled people at the table making
Yes.
decisions on disability access, because an able-bodied person of disabled is, it's big enough. That's all you need. But there's all these little intricacies that need to happen as well. So yeah, and that's why we need to be at the table.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You do need to, you should be at every table with your energy and your
Try.
insights, right?
I
It's the
try.
insights that you have that I
Yeah.
truly love. So just moving away, I want to be really mindful. I didn't ask you to come on this podcast because you're someone living with a disability. I want to be really open about that.
Yeah.
I asked you because I just see this amazing human being who has lived this full life and I know you won't like this, but in midlife, so we're not giving away your age, but in midlife, you
27.
continue to do that.
Yeah.
And so let's just take a big leap here and
Yeah.
talk about this crazy sport that you've taken up of para ice hockey. So tell me where that
Yeah.
began and how you got into that.
Well, basically, after the Paralympics, I went on for another 2 years. I did another World Championships in the UK, and then I burnt out. I was like, I need a break. So I did retire from sport, went out and built businesses, went and earned money and lived life. But then I just got this itch again. I'm like, I really want to do sport again. I missed it. Because once an athlete, always an athlete. I think it's just it's my mindset. It's my whole identity, and I didn't realize I'd left it behind.
Mm,
So I just went like, okay, what can I do? And I did try and get back into shot put and discus again. Um, and I was still third in the world at the time. I think I got down to third. Like I was still up there. Then I ended up in hospital for 4 months and didn't make the Paralympics and the Commonwealth. I actually made the Commonwealth Game selection team and got knocked out, but I was in hospital anyway, so I could never have attended.
for goodness.
So when I don't want shot put and discus anymore, I'd really, they turned me off a little bit with that. So I went to a come and try day once. And it was just like, there was a whole lot of sports in this hall. And I'll try this. There's tennis. Like, I like that. I could do any of the sports because I just love sports.
Was
And
it
then I
a come
saw
and
ice
try
hockey.
day for people living with a
Yeah.
disability? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yep.
So I was like, come and try something because we do like to encourage sport. It's not for everybody, but for me, it is. And so I saw ice hockey in the corner. I'm like, oh my God, that's got my name on it. Right from the start. I said, I don't even need to try it. Where do I sign up? And then it took a year before we got that off the ground here in Australia. Oh, in Sydney. And I would call the organisers weekly. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And they're like, no. And then they went, okay, in order for you to play, because there's 5 hockey ice rinks in Sydney, but they're all booked up and you can't get out. Oh, they're not accessible. I have to drive to Newcastle and I'm in Sydney pretty much every Sunday to play my ice hockey. And that's
So
a
that's a
2-hour
two-hour
drive.
My
2
goodness.
hours there, 2 hours there,
Yeah.
and 2 hours back. And I do it. And I'm not a morning person. I have to get up at like 6 in the morning and I leave the house like, I don't know, 6:30 or something to get there. to play early, and I just love it. I don't care, and I didn't even miss a day. I was every weekend. And yeah, as soon as I got on the ice, it's my new happy place. Like, I love it. And I love the crash bang. I love the, getting thrown up against the wall, and I do say, oh, it's dangerous. Look, I'm padded up. I'm not getting hurt. So I don't want to put people off. It's an awesome sport, but it's fast. We are moving fast. And it's a team sport. I was very individual doing shot put and discus. It was me in the middle of a field throwing, so I'm loving the team aspect of things. And I actually, when I made the Australian team, I'm an assistant captain. So I was really excited because I love it that much. And I love all the people involved. And I've brought half the team on of my friends. So I get to travel with my friends to play something that I just love doing. But yeah.
I can just totally see that. It's like, Lynda's like, I love para ice hockey. You need to come and play with me.
And that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do. You need to come and play. And anybody I see in the street, you want to play ice hockey? Come with me. I have got so many of my friends involved, and look, they're all high level athletes as well. So they're all got the killer instinct as well. So we're like, yep, let's just do this.
You're playing for Australia in para ice hockey.
I am.
In Midlife. Right? That's extraordinary.
Right. I reinvent myself every couple of years. And like I said, I was a business person before this, so that was my thing. And now I'm back at being an athlete because you're never too old to start something new. And I'm not going to be told, oh, you can't do that. You're a bit too old for that. I'm like, no. In fact, I keep telling my coach, I'm like, you're going to have to tell me, Lynda, you're 85 now. You've got to stop because I will keep turning up. I will keep playing because I forget how old I am. I keep forgetting. I am 53. I'll admit to it. But I know we can wipe that out later. No one else. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anyone.
Strict instructions.
I know, but I will tell you. But I'm not going to let that stop me. And I will. And I've actually recently started modeling as well. Like, I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. Sorry, I'm just going to do anything.
I definitely want to talk about the modelling later, but I just want to come back to this para ice hockey because I was talking with my partner about it yesterday, and he's going, how does para ice hockey work?
Mm.
And I was able to give a little description, but I'd love to hear yours because I know you've got two sticks, like one for pushing and one for the puck. And
yeah, well, if you follow my Insta, you can see all the videos. But basically what it is, we're in a sled. So my feet are out straight, and then I'm sitting in like a bucket. Now, under the bucket, there's two blades. Initially, when you're starting, you have them out like this, and then your balance is pretty good.
Like training wheels.
Yeah. But as you get more advanced, you put them in, and you're virtually like on one blade.
Wow.
They're that close. Mine are so close, it's almost like one blade. So you fall over a lot more, but you can get up a lot easier. Then I've got these two sticks that are shortened hockey sticks. So the hockey on one end and on the other end, they've got these two ice picks. So it's a bit dangerous just for that alone. One of my friends ended up in hospital because she stabbed herself, or someone else stabbed her with the little ice pick. But you need the ice picks because these sticks, you'll hold them at the top where the round part is to glide, to push yourself through the ice.
Yep.
But when you're needing to hit the puck, you throw them up in the air and you grab them while you've got gloves on, let me tell you, to get to the bottom so you can then hit, because now you're at the bottom. But that's where the picks are.
Wow.
They pick into the ice. And yeah, so it's a bit of you've got to have a good combination because you're up and down the blade constantly. And like when you're at the top, you just like slam the ice and you slide your hand back down to the ground, or you just throw them up and grab them. And then you can use both hands. So we can hit with our left and our right. And that's pretty much it. And it's the same rules as normal ice hockey, except I think we have one rule. I think is I can't remember what it is. Actually, I'm a coach, so you'd think I'd know. Got my coaching cert, but I think it's running into people, T-boning and running into people. You can't do that.
It's probably reasonable, right?
But, reasonable. I did get done. I actually got done when I was in Slovakia recently. I got put in the sin bin because I did run into somebody. I was the only one in the team that got sin binned, so that's kind of stuck with me a little bit.
So you're the first female para ice hockey player to ever get sin binned.
Yes, I am. In international competition. Yes.
And no one can ever take that away from you. I was the first.
That is my claim to fame currently. Would be nice if I actually got a goal or something, but no. Let's stick to that.
No. Well, I mean, I've watched a bit of para ice hockey, and I've got to tell you, it's violent is the word that comes
Look,
to
it is,
my
and that's what
mind.
drew me to it. But it's not dangerous. It is a bit violent, but it's not dangerous. Like I said, I am so padded up, although I will get the odd bruise and go, how did I get that when I had so much padding on me? I mean, I've got a helmet, I've got shin shin pads, shoulder pads, chest. I've got everything. I'm like a Michelin man coming out there. Yeah, it's not pretty, but I'm fully padded.
So tell me, you were also telling me that you had to pay your own way to get to
Yes,
Slovakia. So this is to represent your country. And
yes,
look, we see this in a lot of sports that we would call them, I guess, the smaller sports. So is it up to each of the individuals in the team to maybe try and
yeah.
find sponsorship?
Yes, yes, it is. Look, we had to pay our own way. It was about $4,000. Well, we did fundraising, so we did bring it right down. But it's a new and emerging sport.
Mm,
Para ice hockey, it just wasn't because we're not a nice country. We're a very hot country.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
but it is growing. It is something and it's growing rapidly. We are getting more and more notice as we go along. But for now, yeah, we're fundraising. We're doing everything ourselves. Not dissimilar to when I was doing Paralympics back in my day.
Yeah.
So I'm used to that. Like we've done the Bunnings barbecue. We did a 9-hour marathon, which I loved.
A
9
9-hour
hours.
marathon.
I was a bit psycho there too. Everyone tells me because my poor coach, who I adore, she came up with the idea and said, "You know what? Let's fun. I'm going to do 9 hours on the ice," and I went, "I'll do it with you." And so will my friend Ash. I nominated her, and when she went, "Okay," so the three of us did it, and then we brought a few other more people in, but they didn't do the full time. Another friend, Erica, she came in and she did the full time with us as well. So there was the four of us, 9 hours. We had music blaring on
What
the
were you doing?
ice,
Just like going round and around? Or?
circles. We were mucking around
9
as
hours
well,
of
and we were
circles.
doing pirouettes and everything. But we just 9 hours nonstop. I think there were little break times of like 5 minutes here and there. But honestly, and I didn't take hardly any breaks because I'm just that
Because that's you.
psychotic that I just kept going. And then at the end of it, I was like, "Yay, this is amazing!" And I went, "Yay!" And I couldn't lift my arms up because I was like, "Oh my god, I am so sore." And I didn't realize that after we started at 11 at night or 10 and went till 7 in the morning. And it gets better. I couldn't even get out of my sled. I could not lift myself out of my sled because I
No.
was so sore. After that, we had a training session. And I'm like, I have to go to training. I had 2-hour break. We just kind of sat there like,
I
I got
bet.
back into my sled and I did 2 hours of
Oh my
training.
goodness. Did they make you pay? Because I know ice time's really expensive in Australia. Did they make you pay for the ice time for the marathon?
Absolutely. Oh, no, they donated that. They
Okay,
donated that time for
good.
us. That was because it's about $600 an hour
Yeah.
for ice time. And no, and where we are at Hunter Sports Centre up in Newcastle, they are so supportive of us. They always give us ice time. They let us fundraise at a few events. We've fundraised. They are really supportive. And we couldn't say that with a lot of places around Australia. They
Yeah.
are one of the best ones. And it's a great venue. So I love going there. But no, they were awesome and they gave us the time. That was part of their donation to us to support
Yeah,
us.
that's fantastic.
And we raised quite a bit.
And if you're listening to this and you're looking for someone to sponsor, Lynda is such a great advocate, not just
Yes.
for women in midlife, for people living with a disability, but just for the energy and spirit of life. So from para ice hockey now. Para ice hockey is not in the Paralympics yet, is it?
Not currently. Now, the
No.
good thing about this is because we are going to be eligible for the 2030 Paralympics because you have to do 2 world championships to qualify,
Okay.
and there has to be 6 teams. We did one in last year in November. Not November, in August. We went to Slovakia. That was the very first Women's World Challenge Championships. Before that, when I went to Norway, it was a challenge. So it was the same kind of thing, but we weren't in the running for anything.
Yeah.
So now we are, and we compete internationally every year in World Championships. Now we'll have one again this year. We're not sure where that will be. It may even be in Australia. Let's fingers crossed. We're
Really?
going to bid for it. But there'll be others bidding as well. We're hoping we get it, and then everyone can come and watch. Or it could be in Germany. I know they're looking at it as well. wherever it is, that will be our second one, which then gives us then qualifies us, and we've got enough teams to do that. Now, look, we're more than likely not going to medal. We're not delusional, but we are tough and we are turning up, and we are the beginning of something big, and that's why we're doing it. And we will get better and we will become more competitive, but we're only new to the ice. 2 years, we're 2 years in. So we are really new. And half of our team were even newer. Our goalkeeper, who was amazing, had only been playing for like 3 months before we went
My
away.
goodness.
And she won several awards. She was naturally blessed. She's awesome. So we are competitive, but we're not up to the US standard or Canadian.
Yet.
They've been playing, or even the UK. They've all been playing for 20 years. You know, they're amazing. And look, there is the Paralympics. It is in the Paralympics, not the women's.
Not the women's, that's right, yeah.
It's in as a mixed team. But in the history of Paralympics, there's only been 3 women who have qualified because men are clearly stronger and faster. And it's very hard to be competitive with them. But 3 women have made that, the Paralympics, not in Australia because we've not had a team, but around the world. Yeah. So that's why it's so important that the women get a voice. The women get to shine that we can do this as well on an equal and level playing field.
We want the chance to be violent too.
Exactly. We're just as crazy. Let us in. And so we've got that chance.
When we've got that passion for sport, we want to play the sport that we want to play.
I would play for fun. If there was no pathway in, I'd still play because I love it. But I'm also competitive and I do want a pathway, and there is one, and so we're going to try and make that happen. So 2030, we should be able to make the team, make the selection. We may just not medal at that point, but we might. That's a long way away. We may get way better by then.
And I love that we, because you're fully intending to be on that team in 2030.
Oh, I told them if I'm not even on as a competitor, I'll be that person giving out drinks, or I'll be a coach. I'll be something. I will be involved because I love it, and I want this sport to grow in Australia. And so I'm recruiting people. So if you know someone in a wheelchair or with a missing limb, let me know because I want to grow this sport.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. You just mentioned that too. So tell me about, because I'm like, I'd love to try it, but you do have to have a level of disability to play para ice hockey, right?
It has to be like your legs have to be affected, your lower limbs. Look, anyone can play. Like you can come and play with us for fun and everything like that. And even local competitions, you can play. It's international competition, Paralympic level, you wouldn't be able to. You have to have a disability. But that's the whole purpose of disabled.
Yeah, exactly.
The Paralympics and things like that. But so you do. And there are still levels. There are some disabilities that can't play. There is selection criteria with that. But if your legs are affected, you're generally going to be able to get in.
So when I'm trying to imagine balancing on, you're saying you're balancing on pretty much one blade now, but balancing on 2 blades and being in a bucket and having you have your legs strapped in?
We're completely strapped in from the bucket to the legs. Yeah. Nothing's moving. So when you fall as a full unit and then you get up. And when I very first did it, my very first day, and I fell over because you fall over a lot.
Of course.
I was like, oh my God, I couldn't get back up. It was so hard to lift myself back up with this frame and me and the blades being so far apart. I was like, oh, I don't know, I can do this. But I kept turning up. And each time I got easier and easier and easier. And now I can just flip up pretty fast. But you need the blades to come closer because you go faster. You can turn faster. You can.
Okay.
The training wheels the training wheels when they're out. So you're a bit slower and you can't turn as fast. And it's such a fast game that you need to be turning constantly.
Yeah.
So you need to get to that level. But once again, that's something, it took me time to get there. Each couple of weeks I put them in and then you get better at getting up and I'm about to get a whole new sled and that's going to put me back at the beginning again and I'm going to have to learn to use that one.
And this is sport. Like at any age, we have to do that. And I find it really interesting that we play these sports that we love as young people. And then there's this drop. There's a significant percentage of, and particularly girls, but girls and boys who drop sport that kind of late teenage years because what happens is we decide, oh, I can't make it onto the Australian team or into the AFL.
Oh, I'm not good enough.
And I'm not good enough. And I'm like,
oh, I'm not as good as Jennifer over there. you
That's right.
know?
And so we drop the sport, and yet we miss that. So in the 20s and the 30s,
Yeah.
a lot of people are missing out on playing sport.
And that's sad
It is.
because I don't compare myself to others, because we are all different and our
Yes.
reasons for doing something is different. I just need to be competitive. I need to be as good as the group who we're competing against, but I will I don't compare myself to others because that's just a path that takes you down a really bad way. And you don't
Yes.
need to, because you don't have to, and that's in life. I don't go, she's making more money or she's getting higher in life, like
Mm,
jumping the corporate ladder. I don't do that. I'm like, yay, go you. We need more women up there, or we need
yes.
more, go do that. And I will run my own race. And I can say to myself, you didn't do too well today. That wasn't a good day. Like I'll judge myself, but not in a negative way. It'll be,
Yeah.
okay, why wasn't I that great today? Oh, did you not get enough sleep? Did you go out the night before? Did you not eat well? And then I go, you know what? I can improve on that. So that's okay. Today's a bad day and next training will be different. And that's how I take on anything. It's I assess everything. So I'll assess it and go, was that on me? Did I not do my best that
Yeah.
way? Or was it raining and it was just a really bad day and the elements were outside of my control? I will assess it and put it in its right place. I won't constantly go, no, you're not good enough. I'm not good enough for this. No, I won't say that. And I will let someone else tell me I'm not good enough for them and you can't do this anymore. I'll wait for them to tell me. And then I'll still argue and go, no, I'm going to
I'd
do
imagine
something.
anyone being brave enough to tell you that.
Yeah.
It's
But
like,
that's,
no,
no.
if you've got that mindset that you can do it,
Yeah.
I have no doubt that you can do it.
And like I said, I would do this for fun. If I had no pathway, I would still do this because I love doing it and it's fitness
Yes.
and I love that. But, and I want to tell people who is listening, like just don't compare yourself in anything in life,
Yeah.
anything. We are all individuals doing individual things and we all have a different backstory. And that's important is if you're progressing it yourself and if
Yes.
you are doing better than you did the last time. Be your own person that you're competing against and don't compete in a negative way. It's, like I said, if you don't have a good day, you don't have a good day. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. You just do better the next time and make some adjustments if it was something you did. That's all it is. And I
It's just,
just
yeah,
little
exactly.
improvements make a massive change at the end. So I've got friends going, oh, I just can't even get up off my sled. I'm like, talk to me in 6 months' time and you will be in a very different place. And let's, just keep moving forward. That's what I do. I just keep moving forward and keep saying yes to everything and seeing where this will take me.
Yeah. Well, and look where it's already taken you, like on another adventure representing your country again in a completely different sport, in a
And
winter
I'm just
sport.
loving
And
it. And I'm
yeah,
hoping now I'll have a summer Paralympics and a winter Paralympics under my name. That's my big goal for me.
that is not going to surprise anyone that's listening to this, I tell you. So I love this mindset that you bring along with you. Um, And clearly that sense of resilience of, having gone through what you've gone through hard things. There is no doubt about that. It's not like life has just
Yeah.
been super easy. You've had to, as you said, you've had to fight for this.
And I like that you bring that up because people go, oh, she's just had it easy the whole life. It's all just, given to her. I fight for everything. Sometimes I'm not the most popular person because I will speak up and like I get told that. And I have ended up in hospital for 4 months
Yeah.
because I cut myself transferring and bang, hospital for 4 months. So my life took a complete turnaround and I lost a job over it because I couldn't turn up to work. So then, and I've done that twice, ended up in hospital for 4 months. And the second time I was working for myself. So I worked with my laptop in hospital
Wow.
because I had to keep a business going. But my mindset had to shift or be very tested when I was in hospital because I had to lay down the entire time. I did not sit up for 4
Wow.
months. It was during COVID. I had no visitors. I was in a single room on my own. And so I had no visitor and I couldn't sit up. I did not leave that room for 4 months because I had the cut on the back of my leg. So I had to stay off of it. And people can't quite grasp that. I did not sit up. It's like,
Wow.
so for 4 months I was looking out of a window, watching TV, working on my computer sideways, like
And during
on
COVID, when no one
during
can, as you
COVID,
said, no
no
one
one
can
can
come and
visit.
visit you.
And that was early COVID, so we're all scared. I'm like, I'm in a hospital full of COVID patients. It was a scary time, but I had to keep going, okay, this is where I am right now. This is today. And most of the time I was quite positive because each day I'd be like, I'm one step closer to getting home. Because at that time I also didn't have it's going to be finished in this much time. It's like, it will end when it ends.
Yeah.
So I just kept going and going. And like even halfway through, my wound broke down again. So the surgery failed and I had to have a second surgery. And I did I did feel sorry for myself that day. And I did remember going, I'm never getting out of here. This is my life now. I am never getting out. But then I had to regroup and I talked myself through it. And I was like, you know what? No, it's a setback. It's okay. Let's start again. And I just took a breath and I'm back to it. And I was like, right, had the surgery again, back to it. And the next day, I'm a day closer to getting out. I'm a day closer to getting out. Oh, today I'm getting out. It was literally those steps that got
Goodness.
me there.
So that like there's just this strength of mindset that I can hear that you have, and I'm like, do you actively do things to support that mindset to make sure you stay,
Yes.
with that fighting spirit? Because I'd love to
I
know what you do.
Yeah. Well, look, I like and we met together when I studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. It's about mindset. And this is where I learned my skills, where I reframe a lot. And reframing is something I do naturally now, but I had to learn it, where I'll have a situation and I just have to change it and see the positive in it. So for me in hospital, the reframe was, I'm a day closer to getting out. This will heal me. I'll be better after this. I remember going and doing one of my courses and there was this ramp I had to get up every day to do this course. And I was like, oh my God, I have to push up this ramp. And I wasn't as fit as I was back then. Like, okay, but my reframe was, I'm getting fitter. So then I just powered up that ramp every day because I reframed it to be, I'm getting fitter, not, oh my God, I have to get up this hill to do this course. I had
Yeah.
to change the way I thought about something into a positive, and then I could do it. And I do that with everything in life. I reframe it. And people get a bit annoyed at me like, oh, you're just a bit too positive. I'm like, I know I can annoy myself sometimes.
Yeah, well,
A
but
bit
there's this
positive, but they're like,
difference. There's a difference between that toxic positivity,
yeah,
right, and this ability to
yeah.
reframe and
Because I
to,
do have hard times. I do. I'm
yeah, of
human.
course.
I do have moments of doubt. I do have moments of,
Yeah.
can I do this? But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just keep going until someone says don't. I'll let someone else decide if I'm good enough or not. That's what I do now. It's someone else's decision. I'm just going to do my best.
And even then, you'll still try and prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like, no, I can do it. Give me another chance if I'm like that. But yeah, I've not always been successful. And I've had failed businesses, but I gave it a go. And then I went, you know what? It's not working. I'll tweak it. It's still not working. I'll get out and I'll start something new. And I'm now currently in some businesses and they're working really well and I'm helping people. So I'm in a really good place now, but I haven't always had it work in my favor. I've had to make changes
Yes.
and get out when I could, or,
You've taken the
you have
hits,
to
you've
assess
taken the
everything.
losses. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That reframing for me is one of the most powerful tools.
It
And
is.
what I will say is that you also have to be in a space where you love yourself enough
Yes.
to do the reframe, like to
Yeah.
actually, go
To
through
not
that
put it on
process.
yourself.
That's
To not
right.
constantly
Yeah.
say you're not good enough or I'm
Yeah.
not good enough. It's me. It's always me. It's not. Sometimes a lot of things are outside of your control and it just works out how it works out. It's not on you. But you still have to turn up and that's the difference. Like I
Absolutely.
turn up and I will give it a go and I will do my best, but I won't put it on myself. If it doesn't work
Yeah.
out, it doesn't work out for whatever reason. It was not my thing. But when it does work out, it's awesome.
It's amazing, isn't it? So you mentioned earlier about modeling. So this is something that you've just got into
This is
recently,
new. This is new.
so I want to make sure that tell me, because I know you've got a sports agent, you've got a modeling agency. So if anyone wants to
Yeah.
kind of, I'm not going to say use you, but if anyone
I
is
know.
interested in working with you, they can
Working with
reach out
me.
to those. So make sure you tell me about those two agencies and about your modeling, because
Yeah.
I've got to say, I saw the photos of you and I'm like, oh, she's just so sassy and gorgeous.
No, great photographers and I said, just airbrush the crap out of me. It's like,
Not at all. They don't need to.
I know they do. But that's okay. That's okay. That's why you could do modeling. Look, it's a new thing and I don't know where this will take me. Look, I got myself a sporting agent because, like I said, I want to take this further. I want this to not just be a hobby. So I got an agent because I want to grow the sport and I want people to see it. More than anything, I want to be the face of the sport to get more people in, to get us funding, to get us
Yes.
everything I need. So I got an agent. And they said, yeah, let's do this. So I'll be doing speaking gigs. And I'm scared to death of speaking gigs, let me tell you. As much as I talk a lot, I get nervous. I'm like, what do I say? What do people want to know? But I'll do it. Like I said with you, yeah, let's just do this.
You will.
I don't like talking. And modeling came very similar after. It was like I had an opportunity. So I joined a company called ZBD, and they're a disability agency. So they have everything under the sun. And they are there also promoting disabled people in a good light, not just here's a disabled person being helped by somebody. That's not the kind that I want to do.
No.
I want to be this is the disabled person doing modeling, doing sport, doing businesses. That's the kind of type I want to show. And so I'm doing modeling. And look, honestly, I may not go anywhere in life with this. I might make a Target catalog and I'll be so excited. And that's okay.
Come on, you told me yesterday you have a bit of a goal around your modeling too.
Of course, I'd
Yep.
love to take it as far as I could.
Yeah.
Go
I see
runway
you
model.
wheeling
Who
down. You're going to
knows?
wheel down the catwalk at some point. I have
Who
no
knows?
doubt.
But honestly, if I just get a Target catalog, big W catalog, I'll be so happy. But like I said, because I'm no Elm McPherson, and I know that, and I know I come with this with a disability side to it, and that's okay because that's my platform. Disability, we are normal people doing normal things, and that's my angle. So yeah, that's why I can get
I would
into
say
it.
you're a normal person doing extraordinary things. Like, not in reality, not that many people get to represent their country in one thing, let alone two things. I'm just saying.
That's true, and that's why I just keep going, and I do want to be out there to show people. Because you don't have to get to this level, though. Then this is the other thing. You don't have to
Yes.
get to representing the country and all that. You don't. You can just be getting a promotion, or you can just be doing something you couldn't do before and now you're doing it. Or even just socializing and going out and joining a club to meet new people. That's big steps. And
Absolutely is.
that's awesome. And that's what I want people who's watching to do. You don't have to represent the country. That's a big goal. And I've been doing it since I was 9. So it's a goal I could achieve after I was 9. Keep doing all the sport. But it doesn't have to be big goals like that. It can be little goals that you achieve. And
One
that's
of the things
what I love.
and one of the
setting.
things I see with women in midlife in particular is that, I'd like to do something. And
Yes.
so
Scared.
in my arena of cricket, we're seeing women kind of going, oh, I'm curious about what it's like. Well, that ball seems really hard. And so we're trying to give them a way up on the
Yes.
Sunshine Coast where I am, trying to give them a way to come and try the
Come and
sport and
try.
enjoy it. And those that have engaged with it are absolutely loving it, love playing.
And that's great. I want people to do that too. Just come and try it. You
Yes.
don't have to turn it into a career. You don't have to even like it. If you don't like it, then you don't have to come back.
Yeah.
But try it because you want to try something different. You want to
Yeah.
get fit. You want to do something. But don't not do it because you're scared. It's the scaredness that life is too short.
Yes.
And with a disability, it's all too real to me because I've lost a lot of people. It's all too real. So for me, I'm not wasting any seconds that I have. I've got too much to do in this short time. And I'm not going to sit there and go, I can't do that because I'm a bit scared to do it. I literally said yes to a speaking gig in a couple of weeks, and I'm scared to death of it. Like, no, Lynda, don't not do it because of that. Do it, and it may be a bit rusty. I may slip up a few times, but I'm going to do it, and hopefully someone gets something out of it, and that's all I can do. And get better at it by doing it, turning up, and keep doing it, and I'll get better at it.
One of the podcasts that I launched kind of early on, I think it might be the episode 4 in Midlife Unfiltered, is about comfort zone and getting out of the comfort zone and making sure just go out and try it. Like
Yeah,
we
it's
so much
important.
hinges on it. It's like it doesn't matter. None of it really matters.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I love that. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't care what people think of me if I'm gonna go out playing ice hockey at my age. I don't care. Don't care. I'm gonna do
Good.
it. I love it, and I'm just gonna keep turning up.
Good. We need you to keep playing because I for one want to be watching you in the 2030 Paralympics.
Yeah,
That is just going to be like
that
I'm
is
going to
my
be I'm
goal.
so excited just to
So
watch it.
I may be giving out the water bottles, but I'll be there.
Doesn't
I'll
matter.
be there.
Yeah, yeah. So look, this has just been a delightful, delightful time to spend with you. I feel so blessed and
It's been
privileged to
great
have
chatting.
been able to do this. I love to just finish off my episodes with a few, I call them popcorn
Go
questions.
for it.
So sort of the first thing that comes into your mind. And I think we've probably actually know some of these answers from you already. So what brings you most alive right now?
Hockey?
Absolutely. I was going to guess that.
Yeah.
What would your bravest self say to you about this chapter of your life?
Say yes, and just say yes to everything,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I'm doing, and being scared saying yes, but I'm still saying yes, and
Yes.
I'm working it out as I go along.
I love that. What's one story that you no longer tell about yourself?
Um, it'd be that I'm not good enough, because there was a time when I was younger that I thought I wasn't good enough at anything, and like I'm not sure if I mentioned the story of one of my teachers who put on a report card, below average mark for a below average student. So that at the time it
Oh,
did affect me, and I was like, "Hmm." But now I use that as a driver. Now I'm like,
yeah.
I love that story now, because now I've put a positive spin on that story. Like, yeah, back then, below average mark for a below average student. Well, now look at me.
Well,
And I often had people, even when I was going into that house I talked about earlier, there was some staff there who had known me when I was younger, and they told this house mother, she'll probably end up in jail. Don't don't put much effort with her. My house mother, my
wow.
friend to this day, she said that's what they told me when they were hiring me. She's probably going to end up in
Wow.
jail. Yeah. I don't know why people thought that. I think they thought that because I was a bit verbal. I would say something and I would stand up for myself even back then. But I still had self-doubt. I did.
Yeah.
And I've had a weight issue my entire life as well. I've been overweight my entire life. I've only recently lost 60 kilos um, through everything. But
Yeah.
it, and so I did have self-doubt. But now I don't tell that story anymore. It's like, no, that's the
Yeah.
old me. I'd had that, and I'm as good as I can be, and I strive to be better each day in
Ah,
everything I do,
I
and
think you're
that's all I can
amazing.
do.
Anyone listening to this is just going to go, wow, wow, I want to know Lynda Holt. Go and follow her on Instagram. If you want to sponsor her, please do so. If you want to contribute to her, please do so. Reach out to her management, all of those things. Like I'll have all the links in the show notes, definitely.
But do follow
Um,
me, and you'll see a lot of ice
yeah.
hockey and modeling, and you'll see all those things of my everyday what I'm getting up to.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, what's something small but powerful that helps you feel more like yourself?
Well, that's a tricky one.
Mm,
Make me feel like myself. Just being kind to myself. I think,
yeah.
like knowing I can have bad days and as well, like just ride those out, and then I'm always just trying to think positively and reframe things. So I'm always trying to make the most of each day.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that being kind to yourself. I think
Yeah.
it's something even in midlife, I really have to work on that. And, in my own life, just try. I
Yeah.
literally some days have to try to be kind and go,
Yes.
okay, instead of just being kind, I'm like, okay, can you just at least try to be kind to yourself?
Sometimes you
Yeah.
actually have to force it
Yes.
or think about it, not force it. You
Yes.
have to actively, consciously do it as
Yes.
opposed to it just happening.
And choose it.
And those days are those days where you got to do that. But you can be a kind day and don't put yourself through so much that
Yes.
day. Have a bit of an easier day to relax and regroup.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being kind to yourself.
I know for me, setting an intention in the morning is really helpful. That really being, yeah, as intentional as I can about how I'm going to show up in that day, and just through some things in my own life coming through in the last couple of years, that has been really helpful. for men.
Yes.
And my last question is, if you could gift every midlife woman one reminder, what would it be?
Um, to go for it.
Yeah.
Basically, just say yes to everything. That it, and there's this, I think there's this, I can't remember. It's like, jumping out of a plane and working out the parachute on the way down. It's like, just say yes and figure it out later. Because every time I've done that, it's worked out amazingly.
Mm,
Everything I've said yes to, it may not always start that way. And I'll be like, there'll be rocky times. But once I get into it, and I just love it. So
absolutely. I love that. I love that so much,
say
Lynda.
yes.
It has just been the most pleasurable hour that I
It's
have
been
got to spend
great.
with you. I just thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you
and
for
talking with
asking
me.
me. It was fun.
Thanks for tuning in to Midlife Unfiltered. I hope today sparked something meaningful and reminded you of what's possible in this season of life. If this episode lifted you up, share it with someone who could use the reminder. Subscribing will make sure that you're notified when a new episode is released, and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify also helps more people discover our little corner of midlife truth-telling. You can always reach out through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. I love hearing from women who are walking this path with me. Interested in working with me? You'll find everything you need at margaretcruise.com. And remember, midlife isn't an ending. It's your invitation to feel more alive than ever. See you next week. And now the legal stuff. The content in this podcast is provided for general information and inspiration only. It does not constitute medical, legal, or psychological advice, nor is it a substitute for independent professional care. Margaret Cruise is not a registered health professional. You are responsible for your own choices and outcomes and should always seek advice from an appropriately qualified professional.